Hello, and I'd like to invite you to welcome Kristine Moller. That's Kristine with a K from KristineMoller.com, who is a wonderful inner transformation coach. And I really want you to understand how she works with her clients, because she's come through certain transformations herself. And it's really interesting because then we can all learn from how Kristine works with her clients and how she's related that to her own life. So welcome, Kristine. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Victoria, and thank you so much for having me on here today. I'm very excited to be here. So yeah, I look forward to hearing your questions so I can tell you all about what it is that you want to hear.
Yes. So basically, Kristine, you've gone through some transformations yourself, and obviously some of that outer transformation is related on inner level. What's your story? What's brought you to your business?
Okay, well, for many years, actually for 20 plus years, I had terrible depression and anxiety. And, I brought up two kids feeling like that, feeling completely restricted about the situation, about the depression and anxiety. I felt like, every time I tried to do something in my life, those two big obstacles always held me back. So I didn't have an awful lot of joy in my life. And then I had a bit of a wake-up call in my early 30s when my mum actually left us at a very young age. And I began to think, my goodness, I actually might only have a few years left of my life. And I felt I can't possibly keep living my life like this, because this is not a life, because I felt that I was meant for so much more. And I felt that there was so much out there for me to give to the world, instead of just living in this sort of prison of depression and anxiety. So I began to look for answers, and it took me a little while, but I found those answers. And so now I'm really passionate about helping, women and men for that matter, get over those feelings of depression and anxiety and get back to really living their life, because I feel like I've been given a chance at life now. I wasn't living before, but now I am.
Wonderful. That's amazing. That's a really good testament. So women often have the kind of fears as they get older about emptiness syndrome. You've got two children. How are you planning for your future? Obviously, you've started this business. You're very excited. Do you think there may be some emptiness syndrome feelings for you, or do you think you're planning ahead for your future enough that this might not happen to you? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I have already got one son at university. He's been gone for 2 years now. And my daughter is just about, on the brink of kind of leaving home. And actually, yes, there is that transition period where you're so used to just putting everyone else first. It's all about your children, and it's all about everybody else. But my advice to anyone would be to kind of learn to forget about that and start becoming a bit selfish. The word selfish to me used to be a very bad word, actually. And but now I kind of embrace that word, because I think, as we get older and we have less and less time left, we need to be more selfish, and we need to think about what's right for us. And I think it's a real opportunity when you do move towards that sort of 50 and early 50s, or later than that for that matter, to really create a business for yourself that you love, because that way, it doesn't seem like work, does it, when you're doing something that you really love?
That's very interesting. So in some ways, you've got things in place already, and you've already considered these things. So that might lessen that aspect, and that's really good advice for anyone who's apprehensive about their role in life. I think for women in general, it can be quite a difficult period when, like, oh, who am I now? I've been role playing all my life. Who am I now? And where do I go? And of course, a lot of women do have depression and anxiety because of their loss of purpose, and they're looking for a sense of meaning, and also the sense that they're not needed and that they're superfluous to the ones they love. So it can be very, very difficult. And you've raised a little a ray of light there. I think that's really good. And of course, people don't have to have a business. They can go into some sort of job, but you've done something that you love and that you're passionate about, and that you've got some personal understanding of. Do you think that helps in choosing your path in life in the future? Does that help to look at your own journey and see if there's any nuggets in there that you can use?
Yeah, well, I certainly think so. I certainly think so. And it's, you know, it gives me so much sort of satisfaction and joy to see other people kind of break free from their prisons, having been there myself, you know. But I think there's, you know, there's many kind of, many ways, many, you know, paths you can take to find that thing that you're passionate about. And if you feel that you are lacking purpose, and, you know, actually look at the wider picture, because yes, you've spent all this time focusing on children and focusing on your family, but actually there's so many more people out there that actually need your help, where you can find purpose, or, you know, causes, you know, things that you can do to create that purpose for yourself in life. And I think it's just about starting to do things, you know, just, you know, instead of sitting there thinking about it, what should I do now? Just go and do some things, get involved. I think, you know, getting involved is the main thing, isn't it? Getting involved in lots of different
And so
things.
your work mainly focuses on inner journey, understanding your inner self. And how do you do that? Are there skills that you use with your clients that you apply to yourself? How are you approaching those later years, perhaps when you're looking at how long you can do your business? I mean, one of the things for me, Kristine, was that when I left my job in education, I thought, I can't do that anymore. I haven't got the energy and the drive. I need something easier. The pace is going to change for you and for women your age group later. So how does that inner journey, inner work in the sense of skill set? Is there something that you can offer advice to people in the sense of what you use with your clients and perhaps use with yourself that they could use, that could help them to understand themselves before they approach the busyness of getting into another job, and perhaps thinking about how they might need to pace things? I don't know if that's too much to ask you, but if you could.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, do you know, one thing that I've discovered over the last few years is, you know, especially as I am getting older now, is to, you know, again, I bring it back to that being selfish, but actually to create a routine in your life that kind of really inspires you every single day. So I think one of the biggest things that I've sort of come to learn is that, you know, for years and years and years when I was younger, I heard about this thing called meditation, and occasionally I'd sit down and I'd, you know, do that a bit and, you know, think about all kinds of different things. But actually bringing that into your life and really doing it every single day, you know, for about 20 minutes, it's a hugely powerful thing, you know, just to go inwards, just to look inside and just create that stillness. You know, and at first your thoughts will go all over the place, but eventually, you know, after maybe the first sort of 10, 15 minutes, all of a sudden you'll get to that point where you really create that space of calm and peace. And it's such a lovely way to start the day. And I think also, you know, at this age, I think it's a good time to start looking after yourself, you know, on a physical level as well, you know, making sure that your drinking's not out of control, making sure, you know, that you exercise a little bit and move your body. I mean, you don't have to be down there, you know, running on the treadmill every day at the gym, but, you know, what I do in the morning is just get up and get my yoga mat out and do some very simple yoga exercises and stretches that really help set me up for the day, because I think we do need that when we get older. Just getting up half an hour early and just taking that time to create those, you know, that good start for the day, basically, that sets you up for the rest. It just changes your mindset, because again, you know, with the work I do, if you change that inside part of yourself, then the outside begins to look very different. Yeah, does that make sense?
It does. I mean, I'm an advocate of quiet time and meditation, depending on what people want and how they can do it. I totally agree. In a morning routine, I think also that when you are busy working in an environment, and it's quite hard to do that sometimes, to give that self-nurturing, which is important. And I also agree with you, Kristine, that really it's hard to understand yourself and know who you really are without having that quiet time when you are alone with yourself, with letting go of the thoughts. Yeah. And which happens slowly. Obviously, it's not something you can manifest often.
But
quickly.
also,
No,
but also, on that note of understanding who you are, the thing that I've also come to realize is that, at this point in my life, I don't really know who I am, and I don't really want to know who I am, because, the more I do, the more I discover about myself, the more I discover what I'm capable of. Because actually, for most of my life, I thought I knew who I was. I had all kinds of beliefs about myself. I believed that, anxiety was something that I was always going to have. Depression was something that I was always going to have. And it almost became part of who I was. And I believed all kinds of things about myself. And then, in the last few years, I've managed to prove myself wrong. So really, that whole idea of knowing who you are, actually, why don't you, go out there and try lots of new things and discover all these things that actually you don't know who you are. I mean, who says we have to be in this set little box knowing exactly who we are? Because actually, I think there's so much to discover about ourselves that we don't even know yet.
Well, I quite agree with that, and I think that's a fantastic point to leave on, in that I think we're both on a journey of discovery and adventure. And for those of you who don't know Kristine, I met Kristine at a great big training event, and yes, it's that joy of life and that exhilaration, having come through your life. And the ups and downs of life are difficult, but coming to a point where you think, right, I've got to change now. My life is changing whether I like it or not, and I've got to move forward, and to actually find that sense of adventure again, and to find yourself is so important. So if you've liked anything that you've heard today that Kristine's mentioned, and you'd like to work with Kristine, then it's Kristine with a K, KristineMoller.com. And I recommend that you have a chat like I've just done with Kristine, and find out if she can help you if you are suffering with anxiety and depression. And I think you may have got a real good taste there of how kind Kristine is as well. So thank you, Kristine. Have you got anything else you'd like to leave us with?
What else? Just thank you for having me. It's been lovely talking to you, Victoria. And yes, if you do want to talk to me, just get in touch, and we can have a chat about how we can help you move on from that, sense of hopelessness and despair, because actually life is and can be really wonderful. You just have to learn how to change what it is that you're thinking, which means you change what you feel, and then your whole external world will change too. So thank you so much, Victoria. I really appreciate being here.
That's lovely. So yes, if you'd like to grapple with your inner self and overcome any negativity and go forward in life with lots of positivity and wonder and excitement, then contact Kristine. And thank you for being with us today. See you all soon.
Yeah, bye-bye. Thank you.